Transformers Bumblebee Studio Series. Ravage? Get a load of this adorable little bastard, would ya? Converts from Jaguar to nothing. Just before we get to the main show, I thought I'd quickly point out that these little core guys come on a dioramery background as well, but because they're jelly ties, it's not super serviceable. But it's there and it's nice and it's sticking to the theme, so kudos. Man, I am so glad that I got a new phone that has a macro lens, because otherwise this would have been a goddamn nightmare to try and film. Look at this guy. He's teeny tiny. His head is smaller than my pinky nail. And I gotta say, I am very, very impressed by the amount of surface detail and sculpt work that exists on this little dude. He's really quite impressive. Alright, and then it's not just the sculpt that's full of all these awesome little like robo-guts details and pistons and pinions and motors and actuators and alternators and what have you. It's also got he's also got some really nice, really crisp paint decals. Like look at that line on the back of his head. You didn't have to do that. No one made you do that. Thanks. And just the most perfectly crisp itty-bitty Decepticon symbol. It's a hell of a tempo. Even like this red line here to separate that. Whilst he might be small, I do feel like sculpt deco parts wise, you are kind of still getting your money's worth, because he is intended to go with Soundwave, which I know in and of itself is relatively controversial. Like, I know I'm not a huge fan of when you have to buy another toy to make another toy work the way that it's kind of designed to. Like, fair enough if you want to make us pay for Ravage, because you've not thrown in with Soundwave like a Laserbeak. Like, I know he wasn't in the film, but you could still do something, right? He is also fairly decently decked out when it comes to accessories. So first things first, you've got this adorable little missile pod that has 2 paint apps on it, which plugs in on top of his back, which helps finish off that look. Then you've got those classic Ravage chuck it on his hip guns, one for each side. They do so much to help his silhouette. It's crazy how it's like such a big part of what you think of as Ravage's design. Get him in there. And then, should you so desire, what it says for you to do is take this piece, which is very, very clearly one of Soundwave's bullets, and chuck it under here. But I'll be honest with you, I think that looks kind of stupid. So I will put this to the side until such time as I get me hands on a Soundwave. Articulation on this little dude's pretty dope as well. So like, his shoulders, all 4 of them, or I guess, do you call these hips? I'm not sure how it works with a quadruped. Let's still call them shoulders and hips. His shoulders and hips are on like a slight ball joint. You don't get a huge range of movement out of it, but you do get a little bit that helps give him some slightly more organic poses and body language and things like that. His head is on a uppity down, and then his jaw is separately articulated, so you can have him take tiny little nibbles out of some Autobots. Each leg is then also articulated to have elbow joint and then a wrist joint as well. And then, you know, because of that crooked back leg thing, dog hind leg, whatever you want to call it, I guess it's a cat's hind leg, whatever. Because of that crooked, I can jump and run really well leg, you also get an extra joint halfway down the shin. And then you also get a little bit of up and down articulation out of that tail. So all in all, pretty poseable for such a little bloke. What a good boy. Who's a good boy? For a quick comparison, let's go ahead and get him in there with a War for Cybertron Ravage. Help give you a sense that, you know, he is incredibly tiny for a single purchase point figure. And let's have a look at him with original G1 Ravage, who, as we all know, can't stand. Oh my god, he did it! Look at that little diminutive trio of dips. And for a final comparison, let's just have a quick look at the only other kind of Bayverse Ravage I have. The Deluxe Dark of the Moon one. Which I think is an apt comparison because this figure also turns into nothing. Aww. He had a baby.
Either way, great progress for Bebe.
So transforming him is actually a little bit harder than you might expect, considering he turns into nothing. So first we want to take off that little back missile. We want to take off his hip guns. Sorry buddy, no more shooting from the hip. Next we're going to go ahead and try and flip down this hip piece so that it gets, you know, tighter. Then on this bit underneath we're going to want to get his little missile pod and stick that into the hole on his tongue, like so. And then this whole piece can fold down and down to make this seem, I don't know, smaller, I guess. Let's put these arms out in front for a second, dip that head down. Then you'll see on him there's a lot of like little, you know, tab pegs. So you just want to take this heel one and get it into this hole here, like that. Summer on the other side, like so. And then these limbs, just see these little holes here, this will come down, peg in there, and you just fold that foot in. Same on the other side. Fold it down, find the peg, find the tab. Oh, so cute. Like this. And then, should you so wish, as the instructions compel you to, you can go ahead and put that Soundwave, obviously Soundwave's gun, back on top. And that's that. That's what this is. Now I know, you know, cassettes and stuff aren't that much more hardcore, but this really is nothing, right? This is just nothing. Even if maybe somehow in this mode, if the tampos had it lined up, I don't really know. But considering that all you really need this form for is to cram into Soundwave's chest, it probably does the job. It looks like a package that's been delivered by Amazon. So yeah, that's pretty well that. Honestly, despite his diminutive demeanor, this figure is packing some big energy. I do not feel like I am overpaid for anything really here. Just the sculpt, the details, the deco, and the articulation, along with the accessories, all come together to, in my opinion, make this a really cool little Studio Series entry. Now I just gotta find Soundwave to go with him. But I think this is a great use of core class within the Studio Series line. Fantastic use. Like, when the whole thing in Studio Series is going for scale, making tiny versions of big characters like the Shockwave one seems a little bit redundant and pointless. Like, just, I don't know, just leave it out. But making some of these smaller dudes, like you could do Revenge of the Fallen Laserbeak in this pretty well. That'd work, hey? Even like, you know, Wheelie and those little like, you know, dudes and dudettes. Some baby Dinobots, that's a good use of this scale. But yeah, I'm chuffed. What do you think? Thank you so much for watching to this point. Be sure to let me know how you're digging him in the comments below. And hopefully I'll see you with some more Bumblebee Studio Series awesomeness soon. Catch!